Hey, Melissa from Coffee Holli here. Let me tell you about something that happened to me just the other day. There I was, half awake, waiting for my morning coffee, and what does my Keurig do? Flashes Prime at me. You know, that annoying error message that shows up at the worst possible time. Now, after working with these machines for almost 6 years and hearing from so many of our Coffee Holli community members, I can tell you, this is super common. Actually, just last week, in our Facebook group, we had several people asking about this exact problem. The solutions? Oh, they are pretty straightforward. So, let's get started. All right, let me tell you what this whole Prime thing is about. You know, the first time I saw this message on my Keurig, I was like, what now? But don't worry, it's actually not as scary as it seems. So here's the deal. When your Keurig shows Prime, it's basically telling you, hey, I'm having trouble getting water where it needs to go. You know what's usually causing this? Good old hard water. Yeah, that same water that leaves spots on your dishes. Well, it's doing the same thing inside your coffee maker, leaving behind mineral buildup that eventually blocks the water flow. From what I've seen in our Coffee Holli Facebook group and from my own experience working with these machines, there are usually 3 main culprits. First off, your water reservoir might just need a good cleaning, or sometimes, and I see this all the time, the reservoir isn't sitting quite right on the base. And then there's those pesky clogged needles. Now, here's something really important I've learned. You've got to take care of this right away. It's kind of like when your car's check engine light comes on. You know, the longer you wait, the bigger the problem might get. Ready to learn how to fix this? Let me show you exactly what to do. Okay, folks, let's start with something really simple. Cleaning that water reservoir. You know, it's funny, but this is often all it takes to fix that Prime error. So first things first, pop out that reservoir and take the lid off. Now here's a little trick I've learned over the years. All you need is some regular dish soap and a soft cloth. Oh, and let me share a super helpful tip that one of our Coffee Holli members shared in our Facebook group. Grab a Q-tip. You'd be amazed at how well it works for getting into those tight corners and around that valve at the bottom. You know those spots where your fingers just can't reach? Yeah, that's where the Q-tip comes in handy. Now, something people often forget about, that water filter. Give it a good rinse under the tap. Actually, you know what? Take a good look at it while you're at it. If it's looking pretty worn out, or if you can't remember the last time you changed it, well, it might be time for a new one. So now something really important, putting that reservoir back. You know, I used to just pop it back in quickly, but let's just say I learned my lesson the hard way. Here's the thing, and this is super important. You've got to be really careful with this part. Actually, just last week in our Facebook group, someone posted about how they cracked their reservoir by rushing this step. Ouch. Now comes the moment of truth, testing if we fix that Prime error. Let me walk you through what I do. First, plug your Keurig back in. Now, here's a little trick I've picked up over the years. We're going to run 3 cycles, but not just with plain water. I like to use a mixture of half water, half vinegar. You know why? It helps clean out any stubborn gunk that might be hiding in there. You'll know you're good to go when that pesky Prime message disappears. And let me tell you, in our Coffee Holli Facebook group, this method has helped so many people get their machines back up and running. But if you're still seeing that Prime message after all this, don't worry. I've got one more trick up my sleeve. All right, let me share some extra tips I've picked up over the years, both from my own experience and from our amazing Coffee Holli community. I have described all of them in detail on the website. The link is in the video description. You know what's really interesting? A lot of people think that descaling is just something you do when there's a problem. But here's the thing. I found that doing it every 2 months, like clockwork, makes a huge difference. Oh, and speaking of maintenance, let's talk about that needle for a minute. You know that little pointy part where the water comes out? It's amazing how such a tiny thing can cause such big problems when it gets clogged up. I've actually got a whole video about cleaning it. You'll find the link right up here. And here's something people often miss, that filter screen. It's like the unsung hero of your Keurig. When it gets gunked up, well, that's when you start seeing problems. I'll show you how to clean that too. There's another video link up here. Now, if you're still having issues after trying all this, don't give up just yet. Every Keurig model has its own little quirks. That's why I always tell people to keep their user manual handy. Or, hey, if you're more of a visual learner like me, check out our channel. We've got tons of step-by-step videos for different models. Okay, if you're still having trouble after trying everything we covered, just drop a comment below. Our Coffee Holli community is pretty amazing at sharing their experiences and solutions. You'd be surprised how often someone else has faced the same issue and found a fix we haven't thought of. Oh, and if this video helped you out today, consider subscribing to Coffee Holli for more coffee maker tips and tricks. We've got tons of videos about maintaining and fixing all kinds of coffee makers. Thanks for watching, everyone. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video.